Ill Show Part 2 of the election security crisis, U.S. election security crisis. I will react to it. We talked a little bit about what's happening down in Pennsylvania in the first segment of today's show and the findings of election violations, criminal election violations with respect to the thousands of Democratic or Democrat registration, fraudulent Democrat registrations, thousands. They found thousands in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and in other counties where they're continuing their investigation and starting their prosecution. And it appears to be like a joint effort between the secretary, or should I say, the clerk's office or the election heads and the district attorney's office. Now we find over in Virginia, or forwarded over to Virginia, seeing what's going on, and then we had the lieutenant governor here, who is who's going to give us her reaction, and then we'll react to her reaction. And this is for educational purposes only. Educational purposes only. Um, and so, without further ado,
There are over 1,500 of them that the judge insanely, incredulously said, Virginia, you must put these people back on the voting rolls. People who told us themselves, check the box, we are not citizens of the United States and therefore not eligible to vote. And the judge said, no, you're going to put those people back on. This is just incredulous.
so Virginia appeals after judge orders 1,600 non-citizens to be reinstated to voter rolls. So you have a situation where the Secretary of State, the governor's office, between the two here, they identified plus 1,600 people who were non-citizens who checked on the box. They were non-citizens, and so they were removed from the voter rolls. And the federal judge come in and says, "Hey, you have to put them back on the voter rolls." And so they're pushing back against that because the federal judge has no jurisdiction into the state elections. Period. Um, and the Constitution, they're following the constitutional law. So they saying, "Hey, we're going to push back on this judge. It's not going to be allowed here in the state of Virginia, which is a constitutional republic." And regardless if you're a federal judge, state, etc., your authority, excuse me, your power that's delegated to you, okay? Federal is Article 3, Section 2 of the American Constitution for the United States. So, Article 3, Section 2, your delegated authority, your delegated power, and the authority is the Constitution. And your job is to uphold your sacred oath, is to uphold that covenant, right? That covenant, that divine covenant. We even put God on it, right? We like, in God we trust. So we developed this trust with you, established that office that was created by the will of the people for you to protect, to uphold the law. So they said, well, wait a minute, we moving in accordance with the law off of their voluntary statement saying, their voluntarily given statement in writing saying they are not citizens. And so this is, again, I know y'all don't want to hear it, but President Trump told you. So, and Brother L showed, well, I should say this, Brother L told you, President Trump showed you. Okay, we're going to do it like that. Brother L told you the judicial branch at the federal district courts was compromised. Compromised. Because their only power, the only power they have is to uphold the constitutional law. Any laws by any state contrary to the Constitution is notwithstanding. That's their only function. Be like first responders. or actually they're the last line of defense when it comes to upholding the Constitution. Because you got legislation that might not be in compliance with the Constitution. You have executive orders that might not be in compliance with the Constitution. Okay, so what do you think the third branch of government is for? Article 3, Section 2. That's the branch of government that protects and upholds the constitutional law, and the Constitution protects the people's rights, birthrights, freedoms, and liberties, right? And it establishes representative institution to represent the beneficial interests of the American people, which they serve, the will of the people. That's what the will is about. These inherited right, which is currently being what? Violated. So you got to look at the definition of citizen is in Article 4, Section 2. So go to Article 4, Section 2 of the American Constitution for the United States of 1787, ratified in 1789. And you go in there, I believe it's Article 4, Section 2. It gives you the definition of citizen in its original context, not associated with the 14th Amendment. We're talking about Article 4, Section 2. And so let me go back to her real quick.
To us. And by the way, these people proved with immigration documents.
This is the lieutenant governor. This is the lieutenant governor of Virginia speaking.
Documents, they are not citizens, and yet we're told to put them back. You know, there was a time when I was not a citizen of these great United States. I had a green card. I was still a Jamaican citizen, but I applied for citizenship, and thank you very much. I was given that citizenship, and now I am able to vote. So I totally understand how this system works. It would have been unbelievable. Wait, it would have been illegal for me to vote. That's
what a lot of times I be saying. If we do stuff, this would be because we would have been prosecuted. We would have been hit with fraud. We have been prosecuted for less. We've been prosecuted for marijuana. We've been prosecuted for bearing arms. And we have and it's within the state of Michigan. And we have a constitutional protected right to bear arms. So I've seen us being prosecuted for less, for things that are not even, that you can't even be prosecuted for. Like you say, with marijuana, you was prosecuted, but then you turn around and made marijuana legal. Like these Democratic plantations or DNC controlled state is absolutely authoritarian. I don't even know what you want, but it's absolutely frustrating for the patriots of this country, myself and others, to see that our rights are being trampled on. Our God-given rights are being trampled on day by day, man. Every second of the day, these people are encroaching more and more on our liberties. You've seen it with the pandemic. Oh, forced mask, forced vax, forced this. Oh, you lose your job. Now you got to wait a year and a half later to get retribution and vindication through the courts. You know, you got to hope the courts ain't bought up, depending on what courthouse you went into. And you might have to go all the way up to the Supreme Court. So now when they say, well, we're going to go to the Supreme Court, we're going to appeal all the way to, if necessary, you got to think who is at the Supreme Court and who put them there. Because if you didn't have people at the Supreme Court who was appointed by the Trump administration to defend the Constitution, you wouldn't even be saying we got to appeal up to the Supreme Court, the federal Supreme Court, because it wouldn't be no relief there. Like there's no relief in these DNC controlled Supreme Courts throughout the several states, i.e. Michigan. See, this is what you got to look forward to. This is what you got to look forward to, where the Constitution is no longer the authority, but they have took an oath and have pledged their allegiance to the Constitution, to this constitutional republic. So how do you not follow the law that authorized your office? That means you are at war with the Constitution. That means that you a domestic enemy. And this only empowers and infuses and supports adversarial nations to continue their expansion of their operations that is adverse or counterproductive to our economic prosperity and peace and stability on the planet Earth. And so this thing is totally connected to create more and more instability and destabilization of the United States of America. This is the part of the dethroning, because the operatives, the regime operating currently in the White House, is being called into question each time we get a scenario of this nature, where we got a federal judge telling them that they got to put non-citizens back on the ballot. Hey, exactly. So I'm gonna go back to my first segment when I raised the question: what exactly did we certify in 2020 in January or January 6th? What was actually certified? Because these same kinds of situation, scenario, stories was reported. Evidence and finding of evidence of the irregularities, the fraud claims, etc. And they was pushed off as propaganda, and or somebody's complaining, and or it was a lot of censorship going on. It was a lot of courts saying there's no legal standing. It was a lot of hoopla. But now we in 2024, and in one state, Pennsylvania, Lancaster, we find thousands of fraudulent Democrat registration. And in other states, we got judges telling the government, the state itself, you understand me, without jurisdiction, telling the state itself, oh, you got to put them back, you got to put them non-citizens back on the voter roll. What are you talking about? That's illegal. So you want us to do to commission an act that's illegal, that's unconstitutional? You have no jurisdiction. That means that your office is vacant the moment that you rendered that decision in violation of the Constitution. Period. You understand me? And the chief judge is supposed to come down. They supposed to convene and supposed to have that judge removed. Anybody that commissioned an act that is intentionally, willfully, that is unconstitutional, you're supposed to be removed from office effectively, immediately. You're supposed to be shut down immediately, because that's a termination of the contract. Your contract has just been terminated. You took an oath. You took an undertaking. You under contract. So the moment that you go against the terms and conditions of that contract, your office is immediately vacant. Immediately vacant. The judgment is void ab initio, from the beginning, like it never existed. Because it don't. Under Article 6 of the Federal Constitution, it states that any a law contrary by any state to this Constitution, anything in this Constitution is notwithstanding. So you can't even create a law. You can't create a ruling. You can't issue a ruling. You can't operate in a de facto nature if the actions is contrary to the Constitution, and you knowing that. And that's why you got to pay it. Elections matter. Elections matter. The whole thing matters. It ain't just about you got to understand what's happening in the state, in the city, in the county, in the administrative capacities, the governor's office, the mayor's office, the clerk's office, the clerk of the city, the clerk of the county, the secretary of state. You got to know the body. You got to know the organs of the body. You got to understand the system. And if you don't understand your body, then it's going to be probably really difficult for you to understand anybody. You understand me? And it just is what it is. So you gotta get in the game here. Like, oh, I'm cool on that stuff. Oh, I'm cool. They go, well, you can say that, but then your vote, your non-participation is a vote in a direction that you don't want. And so your voice is still not being heard within your city and within your county. Shoot, within your own neighborhood. Because really you're supposed to have a neighborhood association, some kind of community organization that can control through the harnessing of the energies of that neighborhood, and increases the communication line with each other. So everybody know the needs and issues of each other and of the community. You understand me? And then you can push your agenda and summons the elected officials to you instead of you having to go to the elected officials. So it's a lot of education that's missing, and it's missing on purpose and by design. So you're not organized, so therefore you have you have no power, no authority, because where there's numbers, there's strength. Where there's unity, there's strength. So the lack of organizing the community together around the various subject matters and issues that impacts them as individuals and family members, and then the collectiveness of the issues represents the community. And so we can summons people to it. We can summons the grants. We can summons the money because it's our money. But the lack of organization on civic obligations and civic strategies puts us in a situation where we're disenfranchised. Is the term. You disenfranchised. You disconnected, right? So yeah, at that point, your activity don't matter because your activity is neutralized through individualism. Oh, I'm doing good. I'm okay. So that means that you're not going to participate with the whole because you're okay. You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of attitude that's been shaped and personality has been shaped where you look at successful communities that's successfully economically, individually, family, community, institutions wise, they communicate, they're organized. They make the community meetings, they make the school board meetings, they make time to do what's necessary to keep the expansion, the growth, the security, the safety, and all these things intact. And not just intact, but doing very well, right? It's like, well, look at Bloomfield Hills, look at Rochester Hills, look at Auburn Hills, look at Kego Harbor, look at all of the surrounding communities that surround Pontiac. Look at the organization of those communities, especially around issues that impact them as individuals and as entrepreneurs and as employees and as a community. All of these things are relevant topics for us to come around so we can focus our vote to get the people that we need in there, or you know what I mean, to get the people that we need in there that represent our interests. You know, not some foreign interests, not gonna sell us out. That actually have the capacity to understand how to negotiate instead of getting people in there that's been brought up on racism tactics and division tactics and don't have an iota, you know, of professionalism in them to actually serve in that capacity. So that's a disservice. And that's what the people in the more vulnerable communities been getting. They've been getting a disservice. They've been getting brand names. They've been getting, you know, brand names, but you don't get no value in the brand, right? It's no, it's like when, but again, it starts at level one.
That's what this is about. And that's why Governor Youngkin has rightly made sure to immediately ask for an injunction against this judge. And if what we have to do is to go all the way to the Supreme Court, the United States Supreme Court, he has said he is going to do that. We must have elections that are free, fair, integrity. That's what this is about. There is no other issue here. You know, we're just following the Constitution. Yeah. I mean, God forbid that we should do that. The Constitution says if you are an illegal person, well, if you are not eligible to vote because you're not a citizen, then you're not eligible to vote. I'm trying to.
And it's really just that simple. It's like, where did the judge find the gray area at? So you got the administration of that state, the executive, the chief and commander of that state of Virginia, and the deputy chief and commander, right? And then you got the elections. On the other hand, you got the chief and you got the directors of the election. You say, well, look, we got 1,600 non-citizens on the voter rolls. What do we do about it? Gotta get them off of there. Boom, common sense. What did the law say? And that's the best mechanism. What did the law say? The law says we have to remove them. Bam. They get sued They go to Fed court, judge out of nowhere, some judge, and it's a district court, some singular judge says, "Hey, no, you got to put them back on there." Okay, so what is your justification in law, in Constitution that says that? What is your jurisdiction? We're gonna challenge that. Ain't no way you're gonna tell me I came over here as an immigrant through a legal pathway, did what I was supposed to do. Not only did I get become a naturalized citizen, but I'm also the lieutenant governor of Virginia. I mean, that's amazing to my Jamaican sister here. You understand me? She's sitting up here in one of the highest offices on the land in Virginia, elected, started off an immigrant through a legal pathway, naturalized citizen, and then now look at her on national television as the lieutenant governor. Wow. Enforcing the law. She said, "Hey, I came over here. I came over here through humble means. I grinded. I did it the right way, the legal pathway, the constitutional way. And there's no, and see, more science, the law says that the law must be enforced on all American citizens alike. So it ain't, and under the Constitution, it says that everyone is protected under the law. So that means I don't get the benefits and you don't, right? She gets the benefits and I don't. No, 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 no. She leveraged the law the right way. Everybody else got to leverage the law the right way. We got to know who is who and what is what. We got to know that our system is intact and is working first and foremost, because why would we pay somebody to protect the borders or protect our borders of our election, the borders of our country, the borders of our Constitution, right? The borders of our economy, right? And then we paying somebody to do the job. We hire somebody to do the job, to hire somebody to do the job, and then they ain't doing the job. Like, so what am I paying you my money for? Why? I think that every citizen should move right into a non-tax capacity and say, you know what? I'm tax exempt. I'm exercising my God-given right to be tax exempt. You understand me? You can't tax God. You can't tax religious purposes. You can't tax it. I'm divine being manifest. I'm tax exempt. We're just not paying taxes no more because it appears that you're using the money, the so-called tax, U.S. taxpayers' dollars, for all the wrong reasons. That's what it appears. It appears you're using it for all the wrong reasons. You're using it to tell me no, to send my money elsewhere, to tell me my laws are no longer recognized, to tell me my rights are no longer recognized, to tell me all the stuff that went on in 20 years ago that we had to overcome. It no longer matters. Whoa, 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 whoa. To who exactly? And who are you? I'm just a little bit confused on what we're talking about here. We're a nation of laws. And I don't know about a nation of immigrants. My ancestors been here for millions of years. Well, we got pyramids everywhere. I can't agree with you on that part. I can't say we're a nation of immigrants. I'll be lying. And that would be considered fraud. Okay. But we do know that a lot of people, the 6 European tribes that we allowed over here, came over as immigrants, and we developed a legal pathway through the expatriation process and the pledging of allegiance to the republic and the establishment of the representative. I mean, you guys know the history already. That's what we're talking about here. And so we're in the present time, and presently under not only this current regime, but these judicial district courts seem to be, over and over and over again, shows constitutional bias. And I just can't believe, how can you be biased towards the Constitution, which is a contract that you actually took an oath and an undertaking to, and you're under a contract. So you're under a contract. That means we own you. I mean, you're public property. It don't matter if you're appointed by somebody we elected. The money pays for the seat, the robe, the gavel, the bench, the seats, the marshals, they badges and guns, the cars, the food, the checks. We pay for it all. So how, in our wildest dreams or nightmares, are we in a situation where somebody's saying, wait, the Constitution is no longer operative? The Constitution is no longer the subject matter. So you're saying that my God-given rights is no longer recognized? My God-given rights are, And for people like me, we've been saying this for a long time. So I say, Brother L told you, and Trump showed you, because in Michigan, which is a DNC outpost, and a lot of people say with Prince, Brother L, why would you support MAGA? Why would I support the DNC? Why would I support an attack on my God-given birthrights? Why would I support an attack and discriminatory conduct because I have a nationality that roots me back into my Aboriginal indigenous capacity as an American heir and an inheritor to the American vast land estate? Why would I want some people discriminating towards me because I have a national origin that I proclaim? Why would I want people to inflict me with some unnatural customs or culture or cult that has nothing to do with my ancestral practices? Why would I support somebody who don't support my economic growth, my entrepreneurship expansion and growth, my independent thought, my freedom of expression? Why would I support the DNC policies to overthrow the Constitution, meaning to overthrow my birthrights? Why would I support the continued illustration that my history is bottled up in a month and is full of trauma? I don't understand this. I will never understand that. Our job as Moorish Americans is to enforce the Constitution, the free national Constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. That's what our law state. That's the instructions that we have been given. That's the law. That's the covenant. Our divine constitution and bylaws. All of us must proclaim and practice these holy and divine laws of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We are not Negro, black, and colored. Those names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. The Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. So I don't prescribe to the Negro, black, and colored venue. We're not Negro, black, and colored. Black means pale, color means artificial in law. I have a Negro refers to a monkey. I have no idea what you're talking about. Why would I support a policy, an institution that promotes the deprivation of my birthright without due process of law? Why would I support the hypnosis? Why would I support an illusion? Why would I support that? You understand me? No. We're gonna be we law abiding.
To find the words to make it any simpler than that. And apparently that's controversial. You just cannot make this stuff up. And so we, through Governor Youngkin, is immediately seeking relief from what this federal judge has said. And if we have to, we're going to the United States Supreme Court. And that's why we're saying, folks, there's so many of you who say that you're not interested in politics. Politics is interested in you.
And you're absolutely correct. And that's what we telling the electors. Hey, the American people of the United States of North America are seeking relief. That's what we're talking about. I seen the brothers come out. I don't know if I can actually find it. Well, I got you guys on here, but I think the Arab, so-called Arab brothers come out in Michigan and support President Trump. I don't know. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I don't know. And again, this is for educational purposes only.
As the president said, we just had a positive.
Now here go the brothers from out of he's in Michigan here, and these are our brothers, our Muslim brothers here, out of Hamtramck, and I believe the mayor and some other brothers here, and they said they support Trump. It's a little bit different than election security. We kind of going into or looking at or taking an observation of the Arab leadership here of Hamtramck, and also I believe the mayor. And he talks about he's supporting Donald Trump for presidency. But he talks about why. I think the why is more important than the who, right? Because we want to make it about the who, or some people want to make it about the who. But again, it's not about Donald Trump. We don't actually think that Donald Trump can save us, like as individuals, because we don't believe in Superman, right? We don't believe in Batman's. We don't got this childish mentality that some singular force is greater than the collective force and or greater than the great God of the universe. So we're not promoting that. We're saying that his administration, his mind, the minds at the table, the people that make up that administration has shown us ability to create peace and eliminate the options of war, the bloodshed, because we say it so lightly because we think that we're comfortable. Well, when I got to dive on the floor and you have to dive on the floor from a drive-by, potential drive-by, you're just hearing bullets in the air. And think about where you got 250 missiles flying over your city. That's what the Iranians launched over Israel. Think about the hundreds of thousands of people that's been murdered, the Palestinians been murdered from bombs and missiles, U.S. bombs and missiles landing in their community. That's their experiences. Imagine the Ukrainian people displaced and murdered and all of this stuff that's in the Russian community, the Russian people's experiencing massive casualties, and it's causing all of these nations to pour in weaponries and securities and all this stuff over the word war, and that's been unleashed under the current regime. And think about that. Before January 6th, you didn't have hundreds of thousands of people being murdered in the name of war. You didn't have it. It didn't exist. Was pulling our guys up out of Afghanistan. We was producing our own energy units, which murdered the need to be in somebody else's nation, taking their stuff. It was when we put a person outside of politics, inside of the office, and we got somebody that can reason with other leaders. We created allies. We became a competitor on the world stage that grew our economy. The individual Americans within this country felt the impact, right? The world felt the impact of peace, right? And negotiations. Man, let's have a conversation. Let's have a cup of coffee, a tea. What are your likes and dislikes? I mean, what are you? It's the art of negotiation. And people don't like that because it was another system in place that was the opposite of peace. Like, no, these are profiteers of war. Trillions of dollars is going to the coffers. They're going to the coffers of the administrators of war, meaning the weaponries, and then the war banks, the banks that finance war. But what does that do? What was the impact? What was the cause and effect to us? What's the cause and effect now? So you got many wars that we're financing with U.S. taxpayer dollars right now, not tomorrow, right now. U.S. taxpayer dollars are funding wars right now, murdering children, women, men, dogs, animals, birds, all of that. Nature, trees, food, agriculture, businesses is murdering it right now. Right now. Not when I get in office, my first 100 days. Right now. Right now. And I have heard nobody but President Trump talk about ending the war within his first 24 before you even get in office. And the people around the world have to take him serious. Why? Because the polls is showing that he's the next president. The polls is determined. The polls are sending a message. Around the world. Hey man, y'all need to chill out. You need to figure this stuff out. President Trump is on his way in. I gotta figure this out. And it ain't that nobody's scared of President Trump. They ain't scared of his administration. He understands how to leverage the office of the presidency. He understands that it is greater, it's a greater impact on the world, and there's a greater impact on Americans of the United States and the world if the United States is in the business of creating peace. You understand me? Now that's a leader. Now we got the power to start wars, but we also got the power to end wars. Let's use that power, that force, that authority, that presence on the world stage to create peace. It ain't about, we don't think Russia's scared of us. We don't think nobody's scared of us. You understand me? We're not coming at you like you supposed to be a punk. No. We saying let's do business with a different purpose. Let's restore order the right way. You can't rob us blind, and we're not going to rob you blind. We're going to do business the right way. Everybody's going to win. And we're really talking to our allies, because a lot of the stuff we be into on agendas from our allies. So they leveraging the U.S. and their relationships to do something of their bidding. No. That's what the American first policy and agenda is supposed to represent. Okay, what's America's interest in this? Because war does not help Americans. War, we have to pay for that. We gotta fix stuff right here. Huh? We can't afford to finance your war. Hey man, you got 2 hours to figure it out. You got 2 hours to figure it out, homie. We gotta go. We're gonna bring our ships back home, our naval ships. We're gonna bring all our weaponry. We ain't sending you no more weapons. We ain't doing none of that. No more money, no more nothing. It didn't cost us trillions of dollars already. I don't care what Trump go in there and say. I know for a fact from his first administration, ain't no wars was popping. It was peace talks, peace accords, treaty agreements. It was trade wars. That's a different kind of battle. They didn't want to see Trump on no trade wars. This ain't no politician you dealing with. This somebody that actually know the market, that understand global markets and U.S. markets, and understand how to put experts in the industry around them, from the political side to the economic side to the military side to the social side to the community side. This is a guy that understands how to build his team, a peace team. Now we're gonna go to war economically because that's what we do. We're gonna compete. We became competitors again. That got my business up and going and running even harder. Understanding that what I do impacts the whole of the nation. See, this is how you really get people on your team. You got to make sure they got a piece of the dream, homie. I mean, they got a piece of the pie. They got a stake in this thing, homie. You understand me? If you don't understand that practice, then you in the wrong industry. You in the death industry. We in the life industry. Life moves, life grows. We in a business expansion. We want to expand our presence, our influence in such a way where it's not harmful to others. It's invited by others. Instead of us getting kicked out of the country, they like, man, come on into the country. Kick back. We love the U.S. Y'all do what y'all supposed to do, man. But instead, you got people over here that's using the office of presidency currently for other selfish reasons.
Meeting with President Trump, we as Muslims stand with President Trump because he promises peace. He promises peace, not war.
See, our Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America, in 1913 AD, for the purpose of uplifting fallen humanity, he stated to the Moors, he proclaimed it, he said, we are for peace and not destruction. Our 5 divine laws is love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Our Moorish flag, the red flag with the 5-pointed green star in the center, stands for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So we're for peace and not destruction. And we Muslims. You understand me? So you like, well, who do you support? We support peace. So for all the brothers and sisters that's been asking me, man, why you supporting Mac? We support peace. We don't want nuclear war. We don't want conventional war. We don't want any kind of war. Economic war, that's competition. That you got two gas stations right next to each other. You got two Dollar Generals right next to each other. You got a Walgreens and a Rite Aid. Hey, that's competition. Who's serving a better product? Who got better customer service? Hey, that's legit. You know, that's prosperity. That's capitalism. You got to get out here. Everybody that feel me. You get up every day and go out here and push your products and services, right? So you can feed your family. You got to be a competitor economically. But you can't grow economically in a safe sense when you got wars. Because now the money go towards financing war. So now you got higher gas prices, you got higher everything because we got to finance a war. So that means we got to borrow money from banks with interest, and now we owe over $1 trillion in interest on the debt that's at 34, 35, 36 trillion. And so, you know, how do you survive as a nation? How does the economy survive? It don't. The workforce take a hit. Every part of the economy takes a hit. And families take hits. Community takes hits. And here we are where we are right now. Why would I support the DNC war policy? Why would I support? They got many wars too. It ain't just a war in the Middle East and a war in the so-called Middle East, or a war in Eastern Europe. It's also a war with the fools that they let into the USA. I mean, MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. I haven't heard the DNC policy on making America healthy again. I haven't heard their policies on making America great again. Economically, where everybody has felt the impact of smart economic policies. Bidenomics didn't work. The infrastructure bill didn't work. The green climate bill didn't work. Going after the fossil fuel industry, shutting down American factories, shutting down America, the USA, excuse my language, the USA didn't work. It did not work. Putting sanctions on Russia did not work. So you didn't have smart foreign policies. You didn't have smart domestic policies. As a matter of fact, they were smart. Smart meaning to cause pain. They were very much smart. But it just wasn't the kind of intelligence that benefited the American population of the United States of America. The border policies didn't work. All of it was geniusly laid out to destroy the country. That's what happens to deflate the system, to put so much pressure on the system that it just breaks itself. It's too much weight. You understand me? And we're spending way too much. We have spent way too much money having to deal with a pandemic, a scandemic. That was an overplay for the overthrow of what we believe the election, the 2020 election. You understand me? And put us up in this situation here where we're not even talking about the administration reissued the order giving the Pentagon and DOD the authority to use military lethal force against American citizens on American soil under the new reissued directive. I got a podcast coming out on that in just a minute. But you got to know what's going on. My question is to the audience, if in fact Trump wins, do they actually concede power? Do they actually leave office? I don't think they do. I don't think the Biden-Harris regime, the DNC, will give up power, will transfer the power of the office of presidency. And we see it now. You got thousands of fraudulent Democrat registrations. You got Democratic judges talking about you got to put non-citizens on the voter rolls. This is outlandish. Third world countries' elections work better than ours. How?
We are supporting Donald Trump because he promised to end war in the Middle East and Ukraine. The bloodshed has to stop.
It gotta stop. You murdering children. with U.S. missiles. That means I am paying for the death of children. It gotta stop. That's who I support. That's what I support. So to the brothers and sisters that's asking me, I am a Muslim, man. Why are you asking me why would I support Trump? He's talking about ending the bloodshed. He said, I want people to stop dying. He got my vote. I haven't heard Biden say that. Kamala say that. I haven't heard him say, I want people to stop dying. I haven't heard him say that. I haven't heard him say, we're going to end the war tonight. Ukraine, you're done. Russia, this is what's going on. This is what we got. All right, what's up? Let's start the rebuilding process. Mr. Nanu, sit down. Sit down. Return them hostages to them people. Return these, release the prisoners. Y'all release they're both hostages. Everybody release their hostages. Y'all give up y'all thousands of hostages. Y'all give up y'all hundreds of hostages. Get up out of Gaza. Get up out of all that. Get up out of their stuff. Let's restore order over here. You understand me? We got to deal with Iran on a positive front. We can't be talking about we want to go to war because we just seen what Macron was just talking about. The French president, he said, "Man, y'all got to chill out. Y'all got to chill out, bro." We seen everybody reacting. They talking about hitting the. I didn't know this stuff. I'm just following the reports. I'm studying the reports, and it was talking about how the UN said, "Hey, attacking Iranian oil fields and that's off limits. That's like a war, a violation of war. That's like a war crime, even though they got a whole bunch of those type of allegations against Netanyahu." But I'm saying, like, even the U.S. was like, no, that's off limits. And it said the impact to the world oil markets would be impacted. So this thing is bigger than what they promoting, right? It's like, okay, you're talking that crap about Iran, but Iran just aligned itself with the BRICS, aligned itself with Russia, aligned itself with, you had the French and the UN come out saying, so, you know, we screaming that stuff in Western media about, you know, they the number one sponsor of terrorists, this, that, and the other, but the other half, or more than half, is not saying, that's not their illustration. That's not their narration of Iran. That's not the illustration of the Palestinians. That's what we getting over here on certain news outlets that's more so conservative outlets, etc. And again, I mean, I don't know how to feel because I can't believe or take for face value everything that's being reported, whether it's conservative or whether it's a Democratic outlet or neutral. But I watched world news and different different nations TV outlets on what's happening on these events. And the bottom line is, who is the broker? Who is better at brokering peace? Because what's happening over here is impacting us over here. We're paying for this stuff. And because it's happening, we're paying extra triple double, and we're working triple double for less. And you got inflation, that's a war. You got the recovery from the pandemic, that was a war. You got this terrible falling economy, that's a war. You got these open border policies, that's a war. So we got election security, integrity, security breaches, that's a war. So we Americans are already been hit with so much. It's like we need relief. We're seeking relief, you know, at this point. And so who is better at brokering peace is my question. Who can bring peace to the planet? Because the U.S., whether you like it or not, the U.S. is involved as a leader on the planet. Its capacity is a leader on the planet. So it ain't a little guy you can ignore. No, you got to holler at us, bro. So that's important. That's an important position. I don't think we need to be removed from that position. I think we need to put the right people in place that understand how to leverage the office of presidency, the government, the federal government, including Congress and the Senate. I mean, I know the Senate is a part of Congress, But these two areas of needs to be revamped and restored as well. We need American first people. And I mean America first, not, this nation, that nation, No, 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 no. The people of the United States of America, bro. The people, their conditions, their issues first. And when that's fixed, we can look abroad and say, okay, all right, where do we help out and assist that? But we ain't feeding our own children. You ain't making sure your own children is safe. Right now, we got a serious, 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 serious matter with the Maha movement. Kennedy Jr. Make America healthy again. All the food is poison. 95% of the food is poison. I shouldn't be hearing, health gurus saying, man, you don't got no choice, man. You just gotta detox. That shouldn't be the solution. The ultimate solution. The ultimate solution would be how the heck is poison is getting into our food, or it's getting to our bodies through the food. What's supposed to be food? We need to address that immediately. I haven't heard the DNC policies on the food, bro. Sis, talk to me. I know y'all can't be that unaware that you're dying from processed foods, not bullets, not police brutality. You're dying. That's if you want to talk racism or just or discriminatory discriminatory practices. Let's talk about the fake foods in the stores, in the supermarkets. Let's talk about the fake produce. Let's talk about the produce that's being sprayed with poison. Let's talk about the pollution that's being released into the air under the guise of climate control. How is this happening? And y'all talking about racism. That's racism. That's racism. You understand me? How is that? That's murder. Because the funerals we all been going to is because somebody died from bad health. Not a bullet. Not a bullet. They saying a bullet, police brutality. But every day, right now, somebody is dying from bad health. Somebody is being robbed of their life from bad health. Period. And that bad health is founded on the fake processed food that got past the FDA. How did it get past the FDA? How was all of these manufacturing product producing companies is owned by the same group? What's going on here, bro? Sis? What's going on with what's going on, man? How I haven't heard the DNC policy through the Harris administration or their campaign talk about what they're going to bring to the table to stop the war against the American people's bodies. I haven't heard nobody talk about that yet. I heard Kennedy Jr. going after these guys. I like that. I need somebody that's self-aware, that's health-aware, health conscious. They understand the food is poison, man. They got the poison. The food is either your medicine or your undertaker. So I'm just a little bit confused on where we at along the road. How much of that bad food and fentanyl we've been consuming in our body? We've been consuming fentanyl. The food is on the level of fentanyl. It should be an executive order going against all companies that's putting poisonous ingredients in the food, in the beverages, or in the water, in the air. It should be that's what I'm saying. We need somebody in the office, in Congress too, in all of these offices that is serious about the business of the American people of the United States of America. How your job is to protect and serve. How are you protecting us at the FDA and the CDC? How? Because if you eating the stuff that's sending you to the hospital and then you getting the prescription pills from the hospitals, that's collusion. Because the pills is making it worse. You understand me? And then you're going right into the ground. The funeral homes get the rest of the money. So these three industries it look like a joint operation to me. It seemed like a joint operation to murder and profit from murder for hire. Like they hit the young brother with, who's the young brother from Chicago that got hit with the murder for hire? Dirk. Okay, it appears that these major institutions, the FDA, and the funeral homes is working a joint operation, murder for hire operation. You understand me? They receiving money in profits from murdering Americans of the United States of America. Put food that's been banned in over 300 countries, in over 200 countries for 70 plus years, man. We a lot. How did this happen? How did it happen? You understand me? So show me a DNC policy from the Harris administration, from the Harris campaign, or the Biden-Harris administration, where they went after these people for that. That's price gouging. That ain't a real watermelon. Why are you charging me $2 less than what a real watermelon costs? In fact, why is it a fake watermelon in the store to purchase? What? So America's a science lab? This a laboratory now? I didn't know the United States was a bio lab, one big bio lab. So we walk in here in the store and there's a fake watermelon. That's not a fraud consumer. That's not a violation of consumer protection laws. I thought that was a watermelon. Thank God I was educated on, if there ain't no seed, dog, that ain't it, right? So we talk about supporting somebody that's willing to support fake stuff, men and women's bathroom, all this other fake stuff, because they cool with the fake watermelon. They cool with the fake identity. Black mean pale. Yeah, pale people, pale man, the first pale woman president. Black mean pale. According to etymology, not according to Brother Eel, according to a book. You understand me? Who set up these fake education systems? What curriculum is that? Why we not beating China in education? Why we not leading the world with the smartest children on the planet? What's happening here? What's going on here? How long has it? The question is, I think I should pose to the audience is, how long has this joint operation been in effect on American soil, homie? We are under attack. The food is fake. The water got poison in it. It got fluoride in it. So they force you to buy bottled water. So who's profiting? Like, the water shouldn't have a poison in it. You shouldn't need to buy bottled water. Let's make it make sense, dog. Sis, bro, family, let's make it make sense. Like, why is it fluoride water? So people are like, I don't want no fluoride. I'm going to get some bottled water. Like, why is it fluoride in the water? That's a poison. What is the cause and effect to the body? Because there is a cause and effect to the body. That's why you people can't get, oh man, listen. So who's talking about making America healthy again? The Maha movement from the DNC. I'll wait. Show me your domestic policies. Your job is to protect and serve. Currently, the FDA is compromised currently. It has allowed hundreds of poisons to seep into to seep into our food system, disguised as ingredients. And they didn't cut deal at the time. So these people, why they're not being prosecuted by the U.S. Office of Presidency? Why they not being prosecuted? You understand me?
All over the world. And I think this man can make that happen.
I do too.
The bloodshed has to stop.